It's going to be in Lake Monroe at 11:22, Brown County State Park at 11:30. It'll be in Brownstown at 11:36. After 11:30, it's going to move into Columbus at 11:43, North Vernon at 11:51, and Westport at 11:54. Tracking these showers and storms as they are moving off to the east. Most of the action has been south of Interstate 70 over the course of this evening. You'll recall earlier today we had a wave of rainfall that moved through this morning. Then we had severe storms that developed this afternoon. Those were mainly north of Interstate 70, but for the evening hours, everything has been farther south. We had lots of activity going on from Rushville into Fayette County on over toward Franklin County and Union County. That was earlier this evening, and this is the new storm that just came in from Illinois, making its way off to the east, tracking north of Bedford right now, packing those 60-mile-an-hour winds. Stormy weather has been very common for us across the area this evening. And then this area along and south of Interstate 70, that is where we've had 1 to 3 inches of rainfall this evening, so there's going to be a lot of standing water out there. Some flash flooding is going to be likely not only for tonight, but right on through the morning rush hour tomorrow, so you'll have to watch out for standing water as you're trying to get off to work and school tomorrow morning due to the fact that we had some heavy rainfall down there. In those darker red areas, that is where we saw the 1 to 3 inch rainfall amounts from Rushville on down through Greensburg, back into Shelbyville, and a couple of spots farther back to our west over Morgan County, down around the Martinsville area as well. Some heavy rainfall has fallen down across south central Indiana, and we're going to stay with the scattered showers and storms for tonight with that severe weather threat continuing for us right on through the late night hours. What we saw today is high temperatures near 80 degrees and dew point temperatures in the 60s. Anytime you get that combination of warm air, lots of moisture in the air, had a lot of lift in the atmosphere today. We saw the tops on these thunderstorms anywhere from 40 to 50,000 feet, and we also had a number of reports of large hail across central Indiana. 1 inch diameter hailstones came down due to the fact that those thunderstorms were so intense and so towering in the atmosphere with those tops as high as 50,000 feet. And we're still seeing that this time of night. So that tells me there's a lot of instability in the atmosphere, even though we're talking about it being after 11 o'clock tonight. A lot of energy in the atmosphere, going to keep these storms going for the next couple of hours. We've had a number of reports of large hail across central Indiana this afternoon in excess of 1 inch in diameter, and a lot of trees were knocked down today, so some folks did lose power out there. You know, it's a very wet month of April. We'd gotten the month of May off to a dry start, but with that heavy rainfall that we had today, combined with the gusty winds across central Indiana, that allowed trees and power lines to come down, so some folks did lose power, and we saw at least one tornado report, possibly two, down across southeast Indiana earlier this evening. So it's been a very active day of strong storms out there. Well, a couple of reports of tornado touchdowns down around Milroy, down in Rush County, touchdown in a field just east of Milroy, and we had a number of sightings of funnel clouds as well. We had one funnel cloud sighting up farther north this afternoon. That was up around Tipton County when the storms were moving through Tipton, Howard, and Grant counties. Even had tornado warnings in that part of the state today as well. So it's been a very active weather day here across central Indiana. Unfortunately, the cold front that's causing these showers and storms is still well to our west. It is just now making its way into Illinois. It's not going to move across central Indiana until tomorrow evening, so we may do the whole severe weather thing again tomorrow across central Indiana. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect from Brown County on through Bartholomew County, and that's a severe thunderstorm warning. The red polygon, that is that tornado warning in effect over portions of Monroe County. That's the storm that's caused the damage back across Illinois. It moved across Knox, Davies, and Martin counties, now moving out of Martin County, now affecting a small portion of Monroe County, and also down around the Bedford area, down in Lawrence County. Strong storms are making their way across central Indiana, packing gusty winds up around 60 miles per hour. These are strong rotating storms that are showing up on Doppler radar late at night, far away from the radar site. That's a sign of very strong rotation for the radar to be able to pick that up this time of night that far away. Shows you we're talking about a powerful storm that is capable of producing some damage. They'll be in Heltonville at 11:30, Freetown at 11:42, Brownstown at 11:46, and Columbus, Indiana at 11:56. So this is unfortunately a late night severe weather event. You know, a lot of folks have probably already gone to bed or maybe getting ready to go to bed, but we'll have to stay weather aware for a couple of hours as these storms continue to track on through. This is the only cell that's under the make that under the tornado warning right now. So we have tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings warnings. Lots of rotation out there, lots of debris being shown with these storms that are now making their way across central Indiana. So that's something we're going to be watching for the next couple of hours. Again, from Monroe, Martin, Lawrence, and Greene counties, we have a tornado warning in effect until 11:45 for a storm that's moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. So we're talking very powerful storms along and south of Interstate 70, and they'll be tracking off to the east. They're going to be moving across areas that the ground is already saturated due to the fact that we had the heavier rains early today across the area. So it wouldn't surprise me if a couple more trees came down. We lost a couple more power lines in a couple more spots overnight due to the fact that the strong storms are holding together. We typically see this once we get into June, July, and August. We get warm enough in the afternoon. We get a lot of heat building up in the atmosphere, a lot of moisture building in the atmosphere, and the storms hold together later at night. Even though we're talking well after sunset, we're still talking about storms. That one gained strength over the last hour, going to affect about 9,000 people in Greene, Lawrence, Martin, and Monroe counties. So if you're watching us from those areas, now is the time for you and your family to put your safety plan in place. Don't forget about your pets, and make sure you do everything you can to stay safe by putting some walls between you and the weather outside, and also make sure you cover your head from flying debris. Put our storm tracker on these storms. They'll be in Columbus at 11:39, Seymour at 12:08, North Vernon at 12:26, Versailles at 12:51. Then they'll move into southeast Indiana and move into Bright, Indiana just after 1 o'clock in the morning. That's over the far corner of the southeastern part of the state, getting ready to cross the state line and move into southwest Ohio. A number of strong storms on Live Guardian radar right now. You see a hail core with that storm now making its way through Brown County, just west of Nashville. So these storms are also capable of producing large hail. We've seen that throughout the day across central Indiana with the storm tracks coming on through. Still some instability in the atmosphere, so we're going to keep things rather unstable for the next couple of hours across the area. Large hail is going to be possible in addition to the heavy rainfall. And when you're trying to drive at night, you get heavy rainfall. It's going to really limit your visibility out there. And I think after the rain stops later on tonight, we'll start to see some patchy fog developing, and we'll see some areas of patchy fog early tomorrow morning. Putting a storm tracker on that hail core there. It'll be in Nashville at 11:30, at Taggart at 11:43, Harrison Lake at 11:53, and just after midnight, it'll move in the Bartholomew County over in Columbus area, and they'll have the possibility of some hail in Bartholomew County as we've had earlier today. We've had all forms of severe weather across central Indiana today, everything from large hail to damaging straight line winds to rotating storms capable of producing tornadoes, a couple of reports of funnel clouds, even some tornado touchdowns across central Indiana. So it's been a very active day of weather. Most of the action south of Interstate 70, south of Indianapolis right now, and that's where we had all the hail reports earlier this afternoon. But we also had some stormy weather across north central Indiana earlier today. Howard County, Tipton County, and Grant County were hard hit when those storms moved through earlier this afternoon. So it's been a very active day of weather. 24 reports in that area alone over the course of the past 24 hours, giving us a number of reports of stormy weather across central India and the damage that they've done. That's just what we know right now. By the time the sun comes up tomorrow and everybody can get outside and really assess the damage, I think you're going to see more storm reports coming in during the day tomorrow. So let's talk about some tornado sheltering guidelines and some places to go and some things to do. The bad options are large open rooms, manufactured housing, or being in a car. The best thing you can do is get inside a well-constructed home on the lowest floor in the center of the home. Yeah, basements and storm shelters are nice, but not everyone has that. So that's why we talk about getting to the center of the building that you're in to protect yourself from anything that could fly in through the window. The one thing you don't want to do outside right now is go outside and take a look around and see what's going on. Let's let that wait until tomorrow morning when we can get sunrise and get better visibility out there after the sun comes up, and we can really check things out. There's the area under that tornado watch. Indianapolis has been dropped from the tornado watch, but everyone from Johnson County farther south and all the way down to the Ohio River is under that watch that runs until midnight, and it may be expanded depending on what happens with this line of storms. This is the latest storm that just developed down in southeast Illinois, making its way into southwestern Indiana, moving off to the east at 45 miles per hour. And as that storm moves on through, we'll have to wait to see if it holds together and maintains that tornado rotation. I'm seeing the polygon size has been reduced just a a little bit. Most of Monroe County has been dropped out of that severe thunder, under that tornado warning. Most of it covering Lawrence County right now, north of Bedford, and we're seeing the signs of rotation right now between Popcorn and Bedford on Live Guardian radar. One of the things we can see on Live Guardian radar with the Doppler radar, we can see the rotation with those storm systems. And what we're watching is the winds wrapping around each other, winds going in different directions to and from the radar site. And we're also watching the intensity of the wind by the colors that show up on the radar scope. So taking a look at that area of rotation, it's going to be near Bedford North Lawrence High School at 11:30, Yellowstone at 11:30, Freetown at 11:53, and in Brownstown at 11:58. Fast-moving storms are now making their way across central Indiana. We've been watching these showers and storms pop up and develop all afternoon, now moving into the evening, now moving into late night hours. Kind of unusual for us to do that this early in the year. This is more of a summertime thing, but this is a very powerful cold front that's back out to our west, and ahead of that cold front, a lot of energy in the atmosphere, and there you see that thunderstorm cell right now. Greene County has been dropped from the warning, so that tornado warning includes the southern part of Monroe County and the northern part of Lawrence County, moving off to the east at 45 miles per hour. A couple of hail cores, one in northwestern Bartholomew County, another one now approaching Nashville down in Brown County. So we're seeing some strong storms rumbling across southeast Indiana. Heavy rainfall now in Decatur County around Greensburg, where we saw some tornado touchdowns earlier today. And Tyler's highlighted both of those hail cores, one in Brown County and one in Bartholomew County. That area is under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. The tornado warning is in an area farther down to our south. So we'll put our storm tracker on those hail-producing storms in Brown County and also in Bartholomew County. They'll be in Columbus at 11:33, Elizabethtown at 11:56, and then after midnight, they're going to move into Batesville, Sunman, Bright, and Manchester before making their way on across the Ohio River and then threatening Cincinnati. We're watching these showers and storms training over the same area that have picked up 1 to 3 inches of rain so far this evening. So flooding is going to be a concern not only for tonight, but we're expecting more rainfall and another severe weather threat across central Indiana for tomorrow, and that's going to keep things rather unstable for us throughout the day tomorrow. We may be tracking showers and storms again for tomorrow night. Right now, just Lawrence and Monroe counties, a small portion of Monroe County, under that tornado warning that does go until 11:45, affecting about 9,000 people. So if you're just waking up down in Lawrence and Monroe counties and you're wondering why the tornado sirens are going off, that is because you are under a tornado warning for a storm that shows some signs of rotation on Doppler radar. That storm is also capable of producing very large hail and winds up around 60 miles per hour, so it could cause some tree and power line damage and also do some damage to homes because of all the intense winds associated with that storm. Been tracking these storms over the last couple of hours across central Indiana. They pulse up, they pulse down, and what Tyler's doing right now is showing you the area of strong rotation right now, making its way into portions of Lawrence County right now. There you see it just northwest of Bedford, just south of Bloomington, just south of Interstate 69, moving off to the east at 45 miles per hour. So if you're watching us from Jackson County or from Jennings County, get ready because that's going to be coming your way on that eastward trajectory. We've been watching that movement over the last couple of hours. Very intense winds right now between Marshall and Olytic, west of Heltonville, north of Bedford, southwest of Yellowstone. We start to see winds rotating around each other, 78 miles per hour. And when those winds wrap around each other in those towering thunderstorm clouds, that is how you get funnel clouds and get tornado touchdowns. And they can be quite damaging across the area as they move on through, especially at night when everybody's guard is down and not really on the outlook for severe weather like we were earlier this afternoon. Now we've got those storms that are now moving on through. Some flood warnings in effect across southeast Indiana today due to that deluge of rain that came down. And if you're watching us from north of Interstate 70, really not a whole lot going on. You're probably wondering what we're talking about, but people south of Interstate 70, we have very active lightning display going on with the showers and storms going on. As a matter of fact, if you're in Marion County right now, you can look southward and see the lightning flashing and lighting up the sky farther down to the south with those storms between Bloomington, Nashville, and Columbus right now. So very active storms that are now moving on through. We still have that tornado warning in effect for a small portion of Monroe County and the northern part of Lawrence County north of Bedford for that storm affecting about 9,000 1,000 people, and that's the one we're primarily concerned about with that rotation on radar. Want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what's going on and takes cover in that part of the state. Don't want you to get caught off guard with the storms that are now moving on through. And if you're watching us from Jackson County, that storm is going to be crossing the state line. We'll have to wait and see if it holds together and maintains that rotational characteristic and giving you the possibility of damage in Jackson County. But right now, we are primarily concerned with the northern part of Lawrence County. Hey, Tyler, zoom in a little bit closer in that area down around Bedford right now and stay on this radar screen here, and you can see the intense thunderstorm activity just north of Oolitic. Heavy rainfall in Marshall, now approaching Oolitic, making its way off to the east at 30 miles per hour. Lots of lightning with these storms. These are lightning strikes in the past 10 minutes, showing you a very active storm making its way across Monroe County, Brown County, into Bartholomew County, southern Johnson County getting in on some of the action. But the heaviest activity is farther down to our south with the showers and storms that are moving on through. So far, month of May, we've had some heavy rainfall today, picked up over a ½ inch of rainfall here in the city, but that was on the lighter side compared to some of the heavier amounts that I saw over the south central part of the state, where 1 to 3 inches of rain has already fallen. And with this storm moving on through, as it moves on through Lawrence County right now, it's going to give them a quick ½ inch to 1 inch of rain, further aggravating the flooding that's gone on today because of all the heavier rain that we've heard earlier this evening. And now we have that tornado warning that goes until 11:45. Severe thunderstorms are making their way across south central Indiana, and I want to caution you about something. In a number of counties, when you have the combination of tornado watch and severe thunderstorm warning, your sirens will sound. You'll call us and ask what's going on. Just treat it like a tornado. Act as if there's a tornado coming down the street so you can make sure that you and your family stay safe, and then we can sort out why the sirens went off or whether they should or should not have gone off. That's something that can be solved at a later time. In the meantime, you see that very strong hail core now making its way through the central part of Brown County right now, near the Nashville area. Very active lightning display going on right now, and some heavy rainfall covering the northern half of Bartholomew County, everything from Hope to Moscow to Columbus getting in on some of that heavy rain. And there you see that hail core now making its way from Bloomington on through Nashville. Strong thunderstorm cell that's making its way through south central Indiana right now, giving us a very active weather display. And it's been a very active day of weather here across central Indiana with the showers and storms moving in back behind a cold front. Heavy rainfall now making its way through Lawrence County, where we have that tornado warning that still has another 15 minutes to go. We still have the strong signs of rotation on live Guardian radar. Been tracking these on Doppler radar throughout the day. Heavy rainfall now making its way into Versailles on over toward Milan, extending back farther to our west. Lighter rainfall now making its way toward Bloomfield. The good news is this is the storm cell that developed back over in Illinois, not anything developing back behind that, so this may be the last